It was a quiet evening in early spring. The sun had already set. A soft blue light rested outside the living room window. Inside, a single lamp cast a warm glow across the walls. The television played softly in the background. Not for attention. Just for company. Robert sat in his chair with a book open in his lap. Linda folded laundry beside him. It was an ordinary night. Calm. Familiar. Predictable. Then the phone rang. The sound cut cleanly through the room. Robert answered. There was a pause. Then a voice. Soft. Shaking. Grandpa. He sat up immediately. The voice said there had been an accident. It said there were injuries. It said there could be legal trouble. In the background, there were faint sounds. Muffled voices. A door closing. What sounded like urgency. It felt real. Another voice came onto the line. Calm. Professional. Controlled. The man identified himself as someone helping with the situation. He explained that the matter was serious. That time was limited. That immediate action was necessary. Robert felt his heart begin to race. The first voice returned. It sounded frightened. It asked for help. And when someone you love sounds afraid, logic does not speak as loudly as emotion. Robert did not hear a stranger. He heard his grandson. The amount of money requested was significant. But not impossible. High enough to matter. Low enough to seem believable in an emergency. Linda stood beside him. We have to help him, she said quietly. And in that moment, they made a decision. Not because they were careless. Because they cared. They were told not to tell anyone. Not to contact other family members. They were told that privacy was critical. The drive to the bank was silent. Streetlights passed slowly across the windshield. They were not thinking about money. They were thinking about their grandson alone in a hospital room. At the bank, paperwork was completed. Questions were asked. Answers were given carefully. Back home, they followed the instructions provided on the call. The transfer was made. A confirmation appeared. And then the line went silent. An hour passed. Then 2. Robert tried calling the number again. No response. Linda suggested calling their daughter directly. He hesitated. But he made the call. Their grandson had been home all evening. There had been no accident. No arrest. No hospital. The voice had sounded exactly like him. But it was not him. And the money was gone. This story is not unique. Across the United States, thousands of families report similar calls each year. According to data from the Federal Trade Commission, Americans reported losing more than $10 billion to fraud in 2023. The highest annual figure ever recorded. Adults over the age of 60 account for billions of those losses. Among the most financially damaging schemes are impersonation scams, including what many refer to as the grandparent scam. For years, this type of fraud followed a familiar pattern. A phone call. A distressed voice. A request for urgent financial help. But something has changed. Technology. Federal authorities, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation, have warned that criminals are increasingly using artificial intelligence to replicate human voices. With only a short audio sample, software can now generate speech that closely resembles a real person's voice. Tone. Cadence. Even emotional inflection. For a grandparent hearing what sounds exactly like a grandchild in distress, doubt can disappear quickly. These scams are carefully structured. They create urgency. They isolate the victim. They discourage verification. Callers often insist that the situation is confidential. They may claim there is a legal restriction preventing outside communication. The goal is simple. Prevent the victim from pausing long enough to confirm the story. Because once a second phone call is made to a trusted family member, the fraud collapses. But in the moment, panic narrows thinking. Victims are not foolish. They are reacting to fear. The financial consequences can be devastating. Retirement savings reduced. Emergency funds erased. But the emotional impact can be even heavier. Many victims describe feeling embarrassment, shame, self-blame. Experts say that reaction is common and misplaced. These crimes succeed not because people lack intelligence. They succeed because people care deeply about their families. Criminals understand emotional triggers. They study urgency, authority, fear, and they exploit them. In 2023, federal prosecutors announced charges in multiple cases involving coordinated grandparent scam operations across several states. Court filings describe structured call centers, scripted conversations, and organized money collection systems. This is not random. It is organized crime. Technology will continue to evolve. Artificial intelligence will become more advanced. Voice cloning tools will become more accessible. That reality cannot be ignored. But awareness can evolve as well. Federal agencies recommend simple preventive steps. Families can establish a private code word known only to close relatives. They can agree that no money will ever be sent without direct confirmation through a trusted number. They can talk openly about the possibility of receiving such a call. Preparation reduces panic. And panic is what these scams depend on. If you receive a call claiming a loved one is in trouble, pause. Take a breath. Hang up. Call your family member directly using a number you already have. Do not rely on caller ID. Do not rely on the voice alone. Verification is protection. Robert and Linda eventually shared their experience with relatives and friends. The conversation was difficult. But it was necessary. They created a plan. They chose a family code word. They agreed on one rule. No financial decision would ever be made under pressure. The phone may ring again someday. The voice may sound familiar. The fear may feel real. But fear does not have to control the outcome. Fraud depends on silence and speed. Protection depends on awareness and communication. In a moment designed to create urgency, the most powerful response is often the simplest. Pause. Verify. Then act. Sometimes, that single pause is enough to prevent a permanent loss. And sometimes, it is enough to change the ending entirely.